Chief Engineer Maya Torres stared at the pulsing readings on her diagnostic panel, fighting the urge to kick the console in frustration. The Horizon Station's power grid was acting up again, and she had already pulled 2 all-nighters trying to stabilize it. The massive space station, humanity's proudest achievement in deep space engineering, housed over 10,000 residents from Earth and various alien species. It was also currently threatening to brown out its entire residential section. "Come on, you stubborn piece of tech," she muttered, her dark eyes fixed on the fluctuating energy signatures. Her small office, tucked away in the engineering sector, was cluttered with half-finished projects and empty coffee cups, testament to her endless battle with the station's quirks. The door chimed, and without looking up, Maya called out, "Unless the station's about to explode, I'm busy." "The station's structural integrity is not currently compromised," came a melodious, crystalline voice, "though I observe concerning inefficiencies in your power distribution network." Maya spun around, nearly knocking over her precious coffee. Standing, or rather, hovering, in her doorway was one of the most beautiful beings she'd ever seen. The visitor appeared to be made of living crystal, their translucent body refracting the office's harsh lighting into rainbow patterns across the walls. Their core pulsed with internal light in a rhythm that reminded Maya of a heartbeat. Maya struggled to find her professional voice. "Can I help you?" "I am Kvex, newly assigned engineering liaison from the Centauri Crystalline Collective," the being's voice chimed like wind through glass. "Your station administrator suggested I consult with you regarding the integration of our crystalline technology with your power systems." Maya ran a hand through her curly black hair, trying to hide her excitement. The Crystalline Collective was legendary for their energy efficiency, exactly what the station needed. "Right, yes, the integration project. I've been looking forward to working with you, but we're actually in the middle of a crisis right now. The residential grid is experiencing harmonic disruption due to misaligned phase converters," Kvex finished, floating closer to her console. Their crystalline body shifted colors slightly, taking on a blue tinge. "Your human technology relies too heavily on linear power distribution. May I?" Maya gestured to the console, and Kvex extended what looked like a crystalline tendril toward the display. The readings suddenly shifted, displaying patterns Maya had never seen before. "Fascinating," Kvex hummed. "Your system is actually fighting against its own natural energy flow. A simple resonance adjustment could dash." The lights flickered ominously, and Maya's coffee maker, her precious lifeline, shut down with a sad whir. No, Maya groaned, "not my coffee. I can't handle this crisis without caffeine." She looked longingly at her half-full cup, the last one she'd managed to make before the power fluctuations began. Kvex's crystal structure rippled with curiosity. "This beverage is essential to your function." "You have no idea," Maya sighed, then did something that would change her life forever. "Want to try some?" "It's not great when it's lukewarm, but it's better than nothing." She held out her cup, and Kvex's crystalline form pulsed with intense interest. The being extended a delicate tendril, dipping it into the coffee. The liquid seemed to flow into their crystalline body, causing patterns of brown to swirl through their transparent form. The effect was immediate and spectacular. Kvex's entire body lit up like a supernova, filling the office with prismatic light. Their crystalline structure chimed a series of notes that sounded almost like laughter. "This is remarkable," Kvex exclaimed. "The chemical composition, the molecular energy, the thermal variations, all in perfect harmony." "Maya Torres, I accept." Maya blinked, confused. "Accept what?" "Your offering, of course. To share such a perfectly calibrated energy source is the highest form of bonding proposal among my people. I must admit, I had not expected such a culturally aware gesture from a human, but I am deeply honored." Maya's mouth fell open as the implications hit her. What bonding proposal?" Before she could properly panic, alarms began blaring throughout the station. The power grid was reaching critical failure. Kvex's crystalline form pulsed with determination. "We should stabilize your station first," they chimed. "Then we can discuss the details of our union. My clan will be most excited to meet you." Maya stared at her coffee cup, her treacherous, matchmaking coffee cup, and wondered if it was too late to transfer to a nice, quiet engineering post on Mars. As Kvex began interfacing with her console, implementing solutions she'd never dreamed of, she had to admit, at least she'd accidentally proposed to someone competent. The station's light steadied, and Kvex turned to her, their crystal form glowing with what she was starting to recognize as joy. "An excellent beginning to our partnership, wouldn't you agree?" Maya could only nod weakly, wondering how she was going to explain this to Station Command. At least she wouldn't have to worry about coffee shortages anymore. She had a feeling she was going to need a lot of it in the coming days. Station Administrator Elena Rodriguez massaged her temples, staring at the unusual pair seated across from her desk. On one side sat her chief engineer, Maya Torres, looking like she hadn't slept in days. On the other, the crystalline form of Kvex hovered serenely, their internal light pulsing in what Elena was beginning to suspect was amusement. "Let me make sure I understand this correctly," Elena said slowly. "You accidentally proposed marriage by sharing your coffee?" "In my defense," Maya protested, "I was sleep-deprived and desperate to fix the power grid. How was I supposed to know that sharing beverages was a sacred bonding ritual?" Kvex chimed softly, their crystalline form shifting to a warm rose color. "The spontaneity of the offering only makes it more meaningful. Among my people, true bonds are formed in moments of genuine need and trust." The station's diplomatic officer, James Chen, who had been quietly taking notes on his tablet, cleared his throat. "This could actually work in our favor. The Crystalline Collective has been hesitant to share their advanced energy technology with other species. A formal union between one of their own and our chief engineer could dash. I'm not going to exploit an accidental proposal for technology." Maya interrupted, then quickly added, "No offense, Kvex." "Your ethical considerations are admirable," Kvex responded, their tone musical. "Though I should inform you that my clan's delegation will arrive within the next solar rotation to begin the traditional pre-bonding ceremonies." Maya's head hit Elena's desk with a soft thunk. "Your entire clan is coming here? To the station?" "Of course. The joining of crystalline and organic life forms is unprecedented. The collective's high-resonance chamber is most intrigued." Kvex's form sparkled with what might have been pride. "They're particularly interested in how you recognize the perfect harmonic resonance of your offering. The chemical composition of your coffee aligns precisely with our sacred bonding frequencies." Elena shot Maya a look that clearly said, "Don't you dare mess this up." Out loud, she said, "We'll make all necessary arrangements to accommodate your clan, Kvex. How many should we expect?" "Merely the essential family unit. No more than 50. Maya made a strangled sound. A junior officer burst into the office without warning. "Administrator. We're receiving multiple requests for docking clearance from crystalline vessels. They're broadcasting celebration harmonics across all frequencies. The station's sensors are going haywire." James's tablet chimed continuously as diplomatic messages flooded in. "We're getting inquiries from Earth Central, the Galactic Council, and, oh no. The media has somehow caught wind of this. Human engineer becomes first organic accepted into prestigious crystalline collective, is trending on the quantum net." Maya lifted her head from the desk. "Please tell me this is just a caffeine-deprived hallucination." Kvex extended a sympathetic crystalline tendril to pat her shoulder, sending tiny rainbow refractions across her uniform. "If it helps, you're handling this better than the last organic who accidentally initiated a bonding. They tried to flee to the outer rim and ended up causing a minor diplomatic incident with the Fungoid Federation." "That doesn't help at all," Maya groaned. Elena stood, straightening her uniform. "Right. James, draft a preliminary diplomatic response. Maya, you and Kvex need to prepare a statement for the media. And someone get our chief engineer some coffee before she has a breakdown. Actually, Kvex chimed in, their crystal structure brightening, I have taken the liberty of having my clan bring a supply of our finest energy crystals. When properly prepared, they produce a beverage that combines the stimulating properties of your coffee with the harmonic resonance of our crystalline biology. It's traditionally served during bonding ceremonies. Maya perked up slightly. Is it stronger than coffee? It once kept an entire crystalline mining colony awake for 3 standard weeks. Maybe this arranged marriage thing isn't so bad after all, Maya mused, earning a sharp look from Elena. Before anyone could respond, the station's communication system crackled to life with a sound like singing glass. The crystalline delegation had begun broadcasting the traditional arrival symphony, their ships creating an intricate harmony in frequencies that made the station's windows vibrate. The welcoming ceremony has begun, Kvex announced, their form pulsing with bright colors. Traditionally, this movement represents the joy of families uniting. The next movement, which lasts approximately 14 hours, symbolizes 14 hours? Maya interrupted. Of course. The abbreviated version is only performed for minor occasions. Elena's composure finally cracked. James, requisition every noise-canceling headset on the station. Maya, try not to accidentally propose to anyone else before the ceremony ends. Kvex, perhaps you could ask your family to consider the station's structural tolerance for harmonic vibrations. Oh, they've already analyzed the station's resonant frequencies, Kvex assured her. They're keeping the celebration at exactly 12% below the threshold that would crystallize your whole plating. Isn't that thoughtful? Maya stared out the window at the approaching crystalline ships, their surfaces refracting starlight in dazzling patterns. They were arranging themselves in what appeared to be a geometrically perfect lattice around the station, their hulls beginning to pulse in synchronized waves of color. I'm going to need something stronger than coffee, she muttered, as the second movement of the symphony began to shake her bones. Much, much stronger. Kvex brightened. Ah, you wish to sample the traditional pre-bonding spirit crystal? I should warn you, the last organic who tried it spoke in harmonics for a week. Maya looked at her accidental fiancé, then at the growing fleet of crystalline ships, then at Elena's increasingly strained expression. You know what? Bring it on. If I'm going to be part of the crystalline collective, I might as well embrace the culture. All 14 hours of it. The symphony reached a crescendo that made the office windows sing, and Maya wondered if it was too late to update her engineering resume to include accidental diplomat under special skills. Maya stood in the station's main observation deck, watching the crystalline ships shimmer in formation around the station. After 4 days of ceremonies, diplomatic meetings, and what Kvex's clan insisted on calling preliminary bonding rituals, she was finally starting to adjust to her new reality. The fact that she hadn't slept in 72 hours, thanks to the ceremonial energy crystals, might have had something to do with her newfound acceptance. Your vital signs indicate extreme fatigue, despite your enhanced energy levels, Kvex observed, floating beside her. Their crystalline form had taken on a deeper, more complex structure since their clan's arrival, with intricate patterns flowing through their transparent body. Perhaps we should pause the festivities. Maya waved off their concern, trying to focus her caffeine-addled mind. I'm fine. Besides, isn't there some ritual we need to perform at exactly 3:14 station time involving harmonically aligned crystal flutes? The resonance of shared paths, Kvex confirmed, their tone concerned. But it can wait. You organics are remarkably adaptable, but you do have limits. Before Maya could argue, the observation deck's windows darkened automatically. Warning lights flashed as the station's AI announced, "Attention, unexpected radiation surge detected in Engineering Sector 7. All personnel clear the affected area." Maya was moving before the announcement finished, with Kvex gliding swiftly beside her. That's near the main power distribution hub, she said, checking her tablet. If those readings are accurate, we've got a serious problem. They reached Engineering Sector 7 to find chaos. Technical crews were evacuating as radiation levels continued to climb. Maya's tablet showed critical readings from the power distribution systems. This doesn't make sense, she muttered, scanning the data. The radiation signature doesn't match any known system malfunction. It's almost like a deliberate energy pattern, HFY finished, their crystalline form vibrating with tension. These frequencies, they're similar to weapons used in the Crystal Wars, designed to shatter our kind. Maya's head snapped up. Someone's targeting your people. But why? Wait. She tabbed through security feeds frantically. The radiation isn't just dangerous to crystalline life forms. If it reaches the station's quantum communication array, it could trigger a cascade failure through the entire power grid, causing a reaction that would destabilize both the station and the crystalline fleet, HFY concluded. Their usual melodious voice had taken on a sharp edge. A rather elegant attempt to sabotage both our people's interests. Maya ran to the nearest engineering console, her fingers flying over the controls. We need to contain the radiation and trace its source. But the standard containment fields aren't designed for this type of energy. Perhaps, HFY mused, their form shifting through analytical patterns, we don't need to contain it. My people learned to redirect such attacks during the wars. They extended crystalline tendrils toward the console. With your permission. Maya stepped aside, watching in fascination as HFY interfaced directly with the station's systems. The crystalline being's body began to pulse with complex patterns of light, and the console's display transformed into a three-dimensional energy map she'd never seen before. The radiation is being generated here, HFY indicated a point deep in the station's infrastructure. But more concerning is its resonance pattern. It's building toward a critical frequency that will shatter any crystalline structure within range, including my clan's ships. And the station's quantum crystal processors, Maya added grimly. We'd lose life support, artificial gravity, everything. She studied the energy patterns HFY had revealed. Wait, if we invert the station's power grid frequency to match your people's defensive harmonics, we could create a counter-resonance. HFY's form brightened with excitement. But it would require precisely coordinated action between your systems and our ships. Maya was already sending emergency codes to Station Command. I'll need authorization to rewrite the station's power protocols. Your clan will have to adjust their ship's crystalline matrices exactly when I say. They're already preparing, HFY assured her. The clan resonance makes such coordination natural for us. But Maya. Their tone grew serious, this modification would essentially merge our technologies. The station would become permanently attuned to crystalline frequencies. You mean like a technological marriage? Maya couldn't help laughing despite the crisis. Well, we're already engaged, right? Might as well make it official on every level. The next few minutes were a blur of complex calculations and precise timing. Maya's hands flew over the console while HFY coordinated with their clan through frequencies she couldn't hear. The radiation levels continued to climb, making the air shimmer with deadly potential. Ready? Maya asked, her finger hovering over the final command. Together, HFY responded, their crystalline form aligned perfectly with her stance. They activated the modified systems simultaneously. The station shuddered as its power grid shifted frequency. Through the observation windows, the crystalline ships began to pulse with synchronized light, their combined energy forming patterns that hurt Maya's eyes to look at directly. For one terrifying moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the radiation readings began to drop as the harmful energy was caught in the cross-resonance between human and crystalline technology, redirected and transformed into harmless light that rippled across the station's hull in waves of color. It worked! Maya exclaimed, checking the readings. We're containing the weight. She frowned at her tablet. I'm tracking an energy signature moving through maintenance shaft 4. Someone's trying to escape. Not for long, Kvex chimed, their tone uncharacteristically stern. They extended a crystalline tendril to the console, and the lights in that section of the station suddenly shifted to a frequency that made Maya's teeth ache. A moment later, security reported an unconscious intruder, found collapsed next to a sophisticated radiation device. Maya slumped against the console, the past hour's adrenaline finally wearing off. I don't suppose your clan has a ritual for celebrating the prevention of terrorist attacks. Several, actually, Kvex replied, their form shifting to warm, comforting colors. Though perhaps we should wait until after you've slept. Sleep can wait, Maya said, straightening up. First, I want to know who tried to sabotage our. What exactly are we calling this merger of technologies? In my culture, we would call it the harmony of shared purpose. Kvex's crystalline form rippled with what Maya was learning to recognize as affection. Though I believe your engineers might prefer something more technical. Maya looked at the energy readings, now showing human and crystalline systems working in perfect synchronization. You know what? Harmony of shared purpose works for me. Besides, she grinned tiredly, it'll look great on the incident report. The interrogation room hummed with tension as Maya and Kvex faced their would-be saboteur. The captured individual, a pale-skinned human with cybernetic augmentations glinting along their jaw, sat calmly despite being surrounded by both station security and crystalline guards. Corporate saboteur, Security Chief Yasmin Khan announced, dropping a datapad on the table. Works for TerraTech Industries. Apparently, they were less than thrilled about the prospect of crystalline technology entering the human market. The saboteur smiled thinly. The free market must remain free. Allowing alien technology to dominate human infrastructure would be devastating to human innovation and independence. Maya felt Kvex's crystalline form vibrate with barely contained frustration beside her. The past 12 hours of investigation had revealed a deeper conspiracy than anyone had suspected. Free market? Maya leaned forward. You nearly killed 10,000 station residents to protect corporate profits. The radiation surge would have prevented a technological colonization, the saboteur interrupted. Your accidental engagement was suspiciously convenient, Engineer Torres. Some of us recognized it for what it really was, a crystalline plot to infiltrate human technology. Kvex's form shifted to deep, stormy colors. You understand nothing of our ways. The sharing of energy, of sustenance, is sacred among my people precisely because it cannot be falsified. Maya's offering was genuine, even if unintended. And that's what scares your employers, isn't it? Maya said suddenly, the pieces clicking into place. Not that we might be colonized, but that we might genuinely choose to cooperate. To combine our technologies voluntarily. The interrogation room's lights flickered, and Maya's tablet began flashing urgent warnings. Chief Khan's communicator crackled to life with emergency alerts. Multiple system failures across the station, Khan reported grimly. The saboteur wasn't working alone. This was just the distraction. Maya was already pulling up system diagnostics, with Kvex peering over her shoulder. The readings made her blood run cold. They've infected the station's quantum processors with some kind of crystalline reactive code, she breathed. It's using our new harmonic interfaces against us, building up resonance patterns that will shatter every crystal-based system on the station, Kvex finished, their tone sharp with alarm. Including the crystalline matrix of my people's ships. And me. The saboteur's smile widened. Can't have an interspecies wedding if one of the parties is reduced to cosmic dust, can we? Maya's fist slammed into the table. Chief Khan, get this waste of carbon out of my sight. Kvex, we need to get to engineering now. The next hour was a nightmare of cascading system failures and desperate repairs. Maya's engineering team worked alongside HFY's crystalline technicians, trying to isolate the infected systems before they could trigger a catastrophic resonance cascade. The code is adapting, Maya growled in frustration, watching another firewall fail. It's learning from our defensive patterns, using them to spread faster. She looked at HFY, who was simultaneously coordinating with their fleet and interfacing with the station's systems. We need something unpredictable, something that doesn't follow either human or crystalline logic. HFY's form pulsed thoughtfully. Perhaps that is exactly what we need. Our accidental bonding worked precisely because it was neither human nor crystalline in nature, but something new. Maya's eyes widened as she caught their meaning. The coffee. The random molecular patterns, the chaotic energy states, it's completely unlike the ordered structure of crystalline technology or human binary systems. If we could replicate that chaos, HFY continued, their form brightening, introduce it into the station's network. It would be like throwing random noise into a precision instrument, Maya finished excitedly. The viral code wouldn't know how to adapt. She paused. But we'd need a massive amount of that energy pattern, more than a simple cup of coffee could generate. HFY's form shifted to a decisive blue. My clan's ships carry ceremonial energy crystals, meant for the bonding ritual. If we repurpose them, expose them to your coffee's chemical pattern, we could create a system-wide burst of chaotic energy. Maya was already moving. But HFY, those crystals are sacred to your people. Using them like this is exactly what they're meant for, HFY interrupted, their tone gentle. Bonding. Unity. The breaking of old patterns to create something new. They extended a crystalline tendril to touch Maya's hand. Besides, I believe you humans have a saying about desperate times. The next few minutes were a blur of activity. Maya's entire coffee supply, 3 months' worth of precious beans, was quickly processed into the strongest brew she'd ever made. HFY's clan positioned their ships in a new formation, ceremonial crystals aligned toward the station. This is either going to save everyone, Maya muttered as she prepared to introduce the coffee crystal matrix into the station's network, or go down as the most ridiculous failed rescue attempt in engineering history. Either way, HFY chimed, their form glowing with what Maya now recognized as affection, it will be a fascinating addition to both our people's historical records. They activated the system together. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then the station's lights began to flicker in strange patterns, and every screen filled with swirling, coffee-colored fractals. The infected system sputtered, tried to adapt, and ultimately crashed as the chaotic energy patterns overwhelmed their logic. When the chaos settled, the station's systems had reset to a stable state, free of the viral code. The crystalline ships hummed in a new harmony, their ceremonial crystals forever altered by their exposure to Earth's most popular beverage. Maya checked the final system readings and laughed until tears came to her eyes. We just saved an entire space station with coffee. This is definitely going in my memoir. And we've created an entirely new form of energy matrix, HFY added, their form shimmering with excitement as they analyzed the readings. One that combines the best aspects of both our technologies, born from chaos and order working in harmony. Maya looked at her accidental fiancé, thinking about chaos and order and the strange ways the universe brought people together. You know what? I'm starting to think that cup of coffee wasn't such an accident after all. The day of the official bonding ceremony arrived with all the chaos Maya had come to expect from her life since sharing that fateful cup of coffee. The station's main observation deck had been transformed into a breathtaking fusion of human and crystalline aesthetics. Crystalline light sculptures floated among traditional earth flowers, while the stars beyond the viewport were framed by an intricate lattice of crystalline ships arranged in ceremonial formation. Stop fidgeting, Elena Rodriguez muttered, adjusting Maya's ceremonial outfit, a unique design that combined a traditional Earth formal uniform with crystalline light-conducting fibers. You've faced down saboteurs and corporate conspiracies. Surely you can handle one ceremony. Those had engineering solutions, Maya whispered back. This has dancing. In front of 300 guests. While trying to maintain proper harmonic resonance. Actually, Kvex chimed in, gliding gracefully toward them, the guest list has expanded to 500. The Galactic Council insisted on sending additional representatives after our demonstration. Maya groaned. Wonderful. More witnesses to watch me accidentally create an interstellar incident by stepping on someone's light tendrils. Kvex's crystalline form shifted through amused patterns. Considering how our last incident led to revolutionary technological breakthroughs, perhaps we should hope for a few missteps. Before Maya could respond, the ceremony began. The crystalline fleet outside began emitting the traditional unity harmonics, their frequencies resonating through the station in waves of sound and light. The assembled guests, human, crystalline, and various other species, arranged themselves according to a complex pattern that Maya suspected had mathematical significance. Ulvex floated to the center of the gathering, their massive crystalline form refracting starlight in dazzling arrays. We gather to celebrate not just the bonding of two beings, but the birth of new possibilities. Through what some called accident, but we recognize as destiny, barriers between our peoples have been broken. Maya stepped forward, trying to remember the dozen different ceremonial protocols she'd been taught. Kvex moved in perfect synchronization with her, their crystalline form pulsing in rhythm with the station's integrated power grid. The traditional bonding ritual, Ulvex continued, calls for the sharing of essence. In ancient times, this meant the mixing of crystalline frequencies. Today, we honor both traditions. Maya's engineering team, positioned at key points around the deck, activated the special systems they'd prepared. The station's lights dimmed as Kvex's form began to glow more intensely. At the same time, hidden dispensers released the aroma of freshly brewed coffee, but not just any coffee. The blend you're experiencing, Maya explained to the assembled guests, her voice steadier than she felt, was created by combining traditional earth coffee beans with crystalline energy patterns. Each cup contains both the chaos of organic chemistry and the precision of crystalline harmonics. Kvex extended a tendril toward a floating ceremonial cup. Just as our peoples have found strength in our differences, this blend represents the perfect balance of order and chaos, structure and spontaneity. Maya took the cup, its contents swirling with both liquid darkness and crystalline light. Following the practiced ritual, she took a sip before offering it to Kvex. The flavor was unlike anything she'd ever experienced, somehow both intensely familiar and entirely alien. Kvex absorbed their share of the blend, their form briefly shimmering with patterns that made several crystalline guests chime in appreciation. With this sharing, we complete what began with a simple act of kindness. But this is not an ending. It's an upgrade, Maya added, earning chuckles from her engineering team and harmonic trills from the crystalline guests. A new protocol for both our peoples. The station's integrated systems responded to their combined frequencies, creating a display of energy patterns that danced across the observation deck. The crystalline fleet outside shifted formation, their hulls reflecting the light show in a cascade of colors that seemed to stretch to infinity. By the authority of both the crystalline collective and station command, Ulvex announced, their tone carrying both formality and joy, I declare this bonding complete. May your frequencies resonate in harmony eternal. The gathered guests erupted in a mixture of human applause and crystalline chiming. The station's power grid pulsed in sync with the celebration, its hybrid systems performing at peak efficiency. Later, after the formal ceremonies had ended and most of the guests had departed, Maya stood at the viewport with Kvex, watching the crystalline fleet prepare for departure. Was it anything like you imagined? Kvex asked, their form shifting through gentle, intimate patterns. When you first offered that cup of coffee? Maya laughed. I was just trying to fix a power grid problem. I never imagined. She gestured at the view before them, where human and crystalline ships now moved in coordinated patterns, any of this. Sometimes the best solutions come from unexpected variables, Kvex mused. Though I must admit, I'm curious about what other human beverages might do when properly harmonized with crystalline energy. Don't even think about it, Maya warned, though she couldn't help smiling. The last thing we need is to accidentally discover that tea has interdimensional properties or something. Actually, Kvek's form brightened with what Maya recognized as their fascinating scientific possibility pattern. Preliminary scans of your Earth beverage called espresso show some remarkable quantum characteristics. Maya held up her hands in surrender. Save it for tomorrow. Right now, I just want to enjoy this moment. No emergencies, no diplomatic crises, no physics-defying beverage experiments. Kvek's form shifted to match her relaxed state, their shared frequencies creating a peaceful harmony. Above them, the stars shone steadily, bearing witness to one of the universe's greatest constants, that the most profound connections often begin with the simplest acts of sharing. Although, Maya added after a moment, I wouldn't mind running a few tests on that quantum espresso theory. You know, strictly in the interests of interspecies cooperation. Kvek's crystalline laugh chimed through the observation deck, resonating with the station's hybrid systems in a way that felt, appropriately enough, like coming home.